Oh man, it's just been so cold out lately. I'm so tired. I just want to sleep, but I should really work on my Shakespeare project. Or I could just do that tomorrow.
You know, you really shouldn't put off what you could be doing today.
Huh, who are you?
We're here to help you with your Shakespeare project. We look so alike! We could be twins! We'll make it interesting for you. You see, the comedy Airs was one of William Shakespeare's most hilarious plays.
Well, sure. Where do we start?
Well, first we gotta talk a little bit about William Shakespeare himself, since he was such a famous playwright. Seriously, we look like twins. Like, we could be sisters from another mister. I just don't see it.
Even though there are no birth records, it is assumed that William Shakespeare was born sometime around April 23rd, 1564. William was the third child born of John Shakespeare, a merchant, and Mary Arden, a local landed heiress. He had two older sisters named Joan and Judith, along with three younger brothers who were named Gilbert, Richard, and Edmund. Before he was born, John Shakespeare had held some official positions as an alderman and bailiff, as well as a mayor. This allowed the family to be pretty well off for a bit. There have been no records found that state where it was that William went to school. Scholars speculated that he may have attended the King's New School since it taught reading. Seeing as now he was a politician's son, he probably was even given a scholarship to the school. On November 28, 1582, William Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway when he was 18 and she was only 26. Before the marriage, she was already pregnant with their first child. Their first child was born soon after and named Susanna. Later, two twins whom they named Hamnet and Judith were born as well, though Hamnet would later die at age 11 for unknown causes. In the early 1590s, William began to work with the acting company Lord Chamberlain's Men, where his career as a playwright began to take off, though the name was soon changed to the King's Men. Shakespeare would go on to write 38 plays, which many he acted in, and 154 sonnets. The first publication of his works would come in 1623 under the name First Folio. His plays would have 200 references to dogs and 600 references to birds. Shakespeare would then die on his birthday, April 23, 1616. His death would leave many people to debate what caused his death. His only granddaughter, Elizabeth, who was the daughter of Susanna, would eventually die childless, leaving Shakespeare with no descendants.
When visiting a rival city, Antipholus meets the twin of his servant, Dromio, but doesn't realize it. A Comedy of Errors was originally written in 1594, though some argue that it was written earlier in the 1590s. It was considered his most juvenile play. The Comedy of Errors was based off of Plautus's play with the cities changed and the number of twins different. William Shakespeare was still fairly new to the theater during this time. It was first performed in 1594 on December 28th. It is William Shakespeare's shortest play, being at only 1,770 lines long. That is a third of the length of Hamlet. The main characters in this scene are Antipholus of Syracuse, who is visiting the city of Epidamnum with his servant Dromio of Syracuse. They are conversing with a merchant. The Dromio of Epidamnum comes in partway through the scene.
Aegon is a trader from Sycrucia, who has come to Ephesus in order to find his missing son. Here, the Duke arrests him and declares that the two towns have been in such rivalry that no person from one of the towns is allowed to enter the other without permission. Aegon pleads with the Duke and tells his story. When traveling, his wife gave birth to twins. At the same time, another couple on the ship had also given birth to twins. Aegon bought them in order for his sons to have servants of their own. Though tragedy struck, and a storm took out the ship. He and his wife were separated in two pieces of rubble, each with their set of twins, where they were soon picked up by two different ships. We will be performing Act 1, Scene 2. In this scene, Antipholus of Cyprus is seen talking to a merchant and gives him some money. This merchant is Dromio of Syracuse. Dromio and the merchant soon leave, only for it to seem as if Dromio has reappeared once again. Only this time, it's Dromio of Ephesus, the other Dromio's twin. He begs Antipholus to come home to his mistress. Confused by this, Antipholus asks Dromio about his money. Dromio is only confused, and Antipholus drives him away in anger.
Therefore give up, you of Epidymon, lest your goods too soon be confiscated. This very day, a Cycrucian merchant is apprehended for arrival here, and not being able to buy out his life. According to the statute of the town, dies ere the wary sun set in the west. There is your money that I had to keep.
Go bear it to the centaur, where we host, and stay there, Dromio, till I come to thee. Within this hour it will be dinner time. Till that I'll view the manners of the town, pursue the traders, gaze upon the buildings, and then return to sleep within thy inn. For with travel I am stiff and weary. Get thee away.
Marry a man would take you at your word, and go indeed, having so good a mean.
A trusty villain, sir, that very oft, when I am dull with care and melancholy, lightens my humor with his merry jests. What? Will you walk with me about the town, and then go to my inn, and dine with me?
I am invited, sir, to certain merchants, of whom I hope to make much better. I crave your pardon soon at 5 o'clock. Please you, I'll meet with you upon the mart, and afterward consort you till bedtime. My present business calls me from you now.
Farewell till then. I will go lose myself and wander up and down to view the city.
Sir, I commend you to your own content.
He that commends me to mine own content commends me to the thing I cannot get. I to the world am like a drop of water that in the ocean seeks another drop, who falling there to find his fellow forth, unseen, inquisitive, confounds himself.
So I, to find a mother and a brother, in quest of them, unhappy, lose myself. Here comes the almanac of my true date. What now? How chance thou art returned so soon?
Returned so soon, rather approached too late. The cabin burns, the pig falls from the spit. The clock hath stricken 12 upon the bell. My mistress made it upon my cheek. She is so hot because the meat is cold. The meat is cold because you come not home. You come not home because you have no stomach. You have no stomach, having broke your fast. But we that know what 'tis to fast and pray are penitent for your default today.
Stop in your wind, sir. Tell me this, I pray. Where have you left the money that I gave you?
Oh, 6 pence. That I had o Wednesday to pay the saddler for my mistress crupper? The saddler had it, sir. I kept it not.
I am not in a sportive humor now. Tell me and dally not. Where is the money? We being strangers here, how darest thou trust so great a charge from thine own custody?
I pray you, ere as you sit at dinner, I for my mistress come to you in post. If I return, I shall be post indeed, for she will score your fault upon my plate. Methinks your ma, like mine, should be a clock, and strike you home without a messenger.
Come, Dromio, come. These jests are out of season. Reserve them till a merrier hour than this. Where is the gold I gave in charge to thee?
To me? Sir, you gave no gold to me.
Come on, Sir Nob, have done your foolishness, and tell me how thou hast disposed thy charge.
My charge was but to fetch you from the mart. Home to your house, the Phoenix, sir. To dinner. My mistress and her sister stays for you.
In what safe place you have bestowed my money, or I shall break that merry source of yours, that stands on tricks when I am undisposed. Where is the 1,000 marks thou hast of me?
I have some marks of yours upon my pate, some of my mistress's marks upon my shoulders, but not 1,000 marks between you both. If I should pay your worship those again, perchance you will not bear them patiently.
Thy mistress's marks? What mistress? Slave? Hasest thou?
Your worship's wife, my mistress at the Phoenix.
she that doth fast till you come home to dinner, and prays that you will not hide you home to dinner.
What? Will thou flout me, thus onto my face, being forbidden? There, take you that, Sir Nave.
What mean you, sir? For God's sake, hold your hands. Nay, and you will not, sir. I'll take my heels.
Upon my life, by some device or other, the villains are wrought of all my money. They say this town is full of cozenage, as nimble jugglers that deceive the eyes, dark working sorcerers that change the mind, soul-killing witches that deform the body, disguised cheaters, prating mountebanks, and much such like liberties of sin. If it prove so, it will be gone the sooner. I'll be centaur to go seek the slave. I greatly fear my money is not safe.
Adriana, the wife of Antipholus of Ephesus, and her servant Luciana are waiting for Adriana's husband to come home. Adriana begins to become worried that her husband is cheating on her when Luciana begins to explain that the idea is nonsense. The scene then changes back to the marketplace where Antipholus of Syracuse is mad at Dromio of Syracuse because he denies the fact that he never said he did not have the money that he gave him. Antipholus starts to get upset and thinks that Dromio is playing tricks on him. Antipholus of Syracuse then shows up at Adriana's home to go out for dinner when Luciana gives him a long talk about cheating. He does not get why, as he denies being married to Adriana because, in fact, it is his brother that is married to her. He then starts hitting on Luciana, which makes Adriana upset later in the play. Antipholus of Ephesus gets locked out of the house, but no one will let him in since his brother's inside, whom they think is him. Then comes a comedic scene where Antipholus of Syracuse and Dromio of Syracuse are describing Adriana, using the different countries to describe how unpleasant looking she is, also mocking the countries. Angelo makes a necklace for Antipholus of Ephesus, but gives it to his brother. This later strikes up a commotion, getting Antipholus of Ephesus thrown in jail because he refuses to pay for the necklace in which he did not receive. Adriana then thinks that both her husband and the servant are insane while they are in jail. This carries out for a while until both Dromios and both Antipholus meet up in the Duke's room. They then get the situation all under control and are reunited with the mom and dad of the twins, at last resulting in a happy ending.
This scene that we performed shows just how confusing the characters get when they mistake their friends with their twins. This is the part of the humor that is shown throughout the whole play. One of the major themes in the Comedy of Errors is identity. The search for identity is all throughout the play. Aegon and Antiphilus are in search of their identity while trying to find their lost family. The whole play is based off mistaken identity and trying to find out who they are. The constant switch of roles between the twins make them question who they are even more. Another theme of the play is suffering, which can be seen when the Dromios are beaten for reasons they do not understand for their mistaken identity. This can also be seen when Aegon is trying to find his family because he has been suffering ever since they have been separated. Adriana finds suffering when her husband switches roles with his twin, as there is a lack of trust and miscommunication when this happens.
Ben Brentley from New York Times states that comedy presents incredibly mobile Shakespeare, through which a play becomes a perpetual motion machine. Anyone, no matter how stationary who watches it, is likely to experience the illusion of being exhilaratingly footloose. I've always thought this to be one of the most beautifully crafted farces ever written, states Michael Billington from The Guardian. Although some may say it does not compare to Hamlet, which is considered one of his best works, The Comedy of Errors was still higher up on the ranking and a good play for his juvenile works. Overall, it was a very comedic play filled with ironic humor and misunderstandings. It was surprisingly humorous and much more lighthearted than Shakespeare's other plays, such as Romeo and Juliet and Macbeth. There were times when it would start to become confusing when the sets of twins were running around, but that made the ending that much more enjoyable when everything was figured out.